Hi, my name is Niki Edwards. I've been teaching for 10 years. This is my second year at Collegiate, and I teach Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. How do I ensure that they are college ready? Just the level of rigor. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that word, but the level of challenging questions, real world applicable questions that I employ. I use a lot of the College Board questions, like the AccuPlacer type questions, to get them ready for that exam that they'll be taking. I just make sure that they can do all their calculations and derivations without calculators. Everything is rote and by hand, and that they just have a real world and working understanding of every single problem, meaning that they can dissect everything, they can interpret their answer, and they can check the validity if their answers make sense at all. Collegiate is massively different from other high schools, one in the size of it and just the relationships that the teachers build with the students because of the size. Also, in preparation for college, it's not a watered down education at all. I truly believe that when the students graduate from this school, when they start college, they are college ready, meaning that they can enter into college classes without needing any kind of remediation. They're already prepared for that workload and the level of challenge that they'll find at a college level. And they're just exposed. They're exposed to having to deal with professors, how to be resilient in class, how to work together, and they are very resourceful. They're forced to be resourceful from the minute that they get here. Well, last year when I was on the college campus, and it was my first year at Collegiate, and just kind of trying to find my own way. The way that I impacted my students was I just had an open door policy. My students were in there during lunchtime. If they needed to talk to me about how to speak to other professors or other teachers that they had, they could come to me. They could come to me about more than just math. They had relationship issues, just trying to get acclimated to the college campus. I just do, like I said, lots of real world problems in my classroom. I think that is the most advanced that you can give a student, giving them problems and just kind of telling them, figure it out, babies. I know you guys can work together. I know you've been taught enough to just kind of put your heads together and just kind of toil through this problem. That's how I help them, really, is by making them do it on their own. Last year on the college campus, in my head, I was preparing all of my students to be in college level algebra. So I'm assuming that that professor is not going to hold their hand and walk them through and babysit them through any of the problems. So really kind of just putting them out there, exposing them to the challenging questions and just asking them to do what you need to do. Use me as a last resort. And they had some issues with it in the beginning, but I'd say about maybe a month or 2 months into it, my students were very adept at solving very, very, very challenging math problems. The teachers that I work here with are extremely dedicated and they give 500%. And when I meet students that are willing to meet the teachers halfway, they go very, very far. So I do think this is an excellent program for students who want a college education, want a challenging experience, and want to know at the end of their journey that they are ready for the next step. When you just walk through our campus, look through the hallways, you can see that there's a sense of pride and ownership in the learning here. You can tell that it is a community of learners and that we're all partners in this journey. So that's what I think. Pride, you have to have pride in order to dig deep and spend those long, grueling hours studying for certain tests. I don't really think the TAKS test is a measure of our students' abilities at all. I really think that these upcoming EOCs and even, I'll just use math, the students passing the AccuPlacer are getting high enough scores on their ACT or SAT to get in really is more of a measure of the pride that they have in themselves and the teachers that they've had to nurture them. Purpose. You cannot get through this program without some sense of purpose. It's too much. It's too much work. It requires you to dig too deep if you don't have an end goal in mind, a purpose as to why you are putting all of this in. I know I have quite a few students that have considered dropping out and going to the high school, thinking that it'll be an easier road to hoe, and maybe it would be if that's what they wanted to do, but if the purpose at the end is for you to be 100% college ready, then this is the program that you need to be in. So you need to focus on the purpose throughout the program just to keep your eye on the prize. And then perseverance kind of just speaks for itself. You are going to have challenges. There are going to be times where you want to quit. There are going to be times where maybe you're even doubting yourself or doubting the education that you received before you got here. But if you do persevere and you do meet these teachers halfway that are meeting you at 500%, you will do excellent on every state exam, every round of your ACT, every round of your SAT.